If I had a stranger walk up and say, "Hey Steve, Brooks made this $200 futuristic moon shoe looking thing that is infused with nitrogen, what do you think?" I would tell them that they're crazy. But guess what? Today we're going to talk about the Brooks Aurora BL. And the BL stands for their blue line of shoes. I guess it's like futuristic shoes that they make. I think there's some scientists that probably work for Brooks that they want to make these shoes, that they have this side project in their head, but they're not sure how Brooks is really going to go with them, so they toss it into here. Same thing with the Catamount, as you saw in a different review that I did. So there's a lot to unpack with this shoe. Is it worth the hype? I guess we'll find out. Now, when we start to unbox this shoe, it's definitely weird looking. You can't get past that at all. And when you start to look towards the bottom of the shoe, which is really what makes it stand out, it looks like two completely different pieces. And I know that some of the marketing terms, they call it nitrogen infused. It's like their DNA foam that sounds like it's injected with nitrogen, so it makes you think of like a Nike Air, like an air pocket sort of thing, which really isn't true. This is basically a foam. Obviously foam is a lot of small little bubbles in there, and apparently they're all nitrogen infused. Well, if we think about what nitrogen is really, all the air that we breathe, it's 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% random gases that really don't affect us all that much. So with that, it's not helium, it's not really light, the shoe's not going to float away despite its futuristic looking appearance. When you look at the upper part of the shoe, it is a very thin sort of mesh, so thin that, I mean, you can easily see right through it. There's not much to it at all. They do have some reflective material on the posterior aspect by the heel cup. Something to keep in mind with this particular shoe is that the tongue itself is very flat, very narrow. I would say with most lightweight shoes, you're probably going to find that. You're going to have a thicker tongue on, I guess, heavier type of shoe, but weighing at 8.85 ounces. That's something that I would probably imagine on this. Again, I already mentioned the reflective material on the back that I really like. Now dudes, this is a sold out shoe. I think there's two things that make this a sold out shoe. Number one, there's a lot of people that really liked it, or they really didn't release this in a whole lot of inventory. So are they going to re-release this? It's hard to say. I haven't heard any buzz on the internet about this quite yet, but if you're trying to look for it, sorry, you're out of luck. I know that there are some sneakerheads out there that really like to find collectibles, usually in the basketball shoe realm. I don't know if too many people are looking to collect running shoes, but this one might not be a bad idea to swipe up if that's something that you are looking for. When this shoe was released in summer of 2021, I went down the internet rabbit hole to see what other people thought about this, and the one negative aspect of the shoe that people really couldn't get over was the fact that when you are walking on a hard surface and walking at a slower pace, they felt like there's a popping sound, or if it was like a suction cup sort of thing. So actually some of the engineers had addressed this particular issue and saying that it can be the separation of some of this material here, and again, it doesn't make any difference to the performance of the shoe. It's just that sound. Obviously, if you're listening to music or if there's road noise or something like that, you know, you're probably not going to hear it all that much. I tried to recreate the sound. I couldn't do it. It didn't happen in the indoor track of the YMCA. It definitely didn't do it on the road or on a treadmill. So I didn't hear that, but it's just something that some other people had an issue with. One thing to take note of with an expensive shoe like this, a lot of people might expect a carbon plate to be in here. No way, folks. The springiness that you're going to see with this is just going to be how the foam is really dense in there. So it'll spring back like you would expect out of a carbon plated shoe. You're just not going to find it here. Now that you've heard the review, you might have seen some things online. Is this worth a hype? You know, it's really hard to say. Is it worth 200 bucks? Really hard to say, especially since they're all sold out and they're really hard to come by. So if you can snatch it, great. If you've tried it, leave a comment in the reviews. Let me know what you think of this, and yeah, stick around. I have some other shoe reviews and some other stuff on the channel. So thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you guys later.